G'day everyone, it's Jason here from Coastal Asbestos on the Gold Coast, the Gold Coast #1 asbestos removal company. Today, I'm going to talk about careers in the asbestos industry. A lot of people probably aren't aware that you can have a career in this industry. So we can go through the various roles that you can play in this industry and sort of where you can start and work your way up. So I guess the basic industry, the entry level thing would be to get your white card, the safety induction card in Queensland, and then you can do your your B class asbestos remover or A class asbestos remover. Now the A class is for friable and non-friable, and the B class is just for non-friable work. Inside those, every state and territory might have something a little bit different, but this is basically what's available. So you have your B class supervisor's ticket you can do, and your A class supervisor's ticket. You can become an asbestos assessor. You can get training for that, and then you can work with an organisation and be an accredited asbestos assessor. There's also occupational hygienists, and they do things like, they're the guys and the assessors both do the things like the air monitoring, clearance certificates if required. So that's another path you can take, or you can take the path of working in the lab, I'm not sure what they do, but getting the qualifications to work in the lab and be the guy in the microscope looking at asbestos. There's also, within some businesses, you could be a specialised asbestos safety guy. Also, because asbestos is all about safety, there's jobs in there for workplace health and safety delegates within businesses, especially big construction businesses, they'll have them. Then there's also the government sector, all those jobs, especially the asbestos assessors, the lab technician roles, and the workplace health and safety officers are there. So as you can see, it's not just asbestos, it's not just asbestos removal. You could certainly have a long 20-30 year career inside this industry, and maybe you're going to get drawn to the industry like we have here at Coastal Asbestos. It's because we like keeping people safe. We understand that's our calling, if you like. We do this because every single day we get to go out and keep people safe. And if you're going to have a long career, you need something like a true north to guide you through and to make sure that you can get up every day and do your job to the best of your abilities. And working in the asbestos removal industry is something that has been the most rewarding thing I've done. I've worked in hospitality, I've worked as a tradesman, trade business owner, and this business that we have, removing asbestos safely, keeping people safe from asbestos, being able to educate, I've never had the ability to educate so many people. Our mission is to eradicate asbestos-related disease in Australia, and this is how I do it. I get to do this, and as we always say, you can play your part by sharing these videos, or you can play your part by joining the industry. You might want to come and work for us. We're sort of like a smaller size family business, but there's guys that, just the scope's amazing, the guys that knock down hospitals and stuff like that, there's so much asbestos. The A-class guys that do the friable stuff, like they work in some amazing places. We had a job working for Gold Coast Council, the one that we won a Workplace Excellence Award for. We did a job 14 metres down in a sewage well, and we had to get the A-class boys in to remove a section of 1 metre pipe that was 450 round, that was totally friable. The sulfur dioxide acid inside the sewer well, just the gas had totally eaten away the sand cement in the pipe, So we had guys, and that was explosive gases in there. So we had a job where we had to manage the risk of explosive gases, manage the risk of working at heights, manage the risk of working in confined places, managing the risks of working with friable asbestos. You know, that was probably one of the most interesting and rewarding jobs we've ever done. You know, other jobs that we've done the biggest asbestos removal done ever on the Gold Coast was 23,000 cubic metres of asbestos impacted soil. And that was when they extended the Gold Coast Airport's capabilities and put in the instrument landing system. Now that involved a heap of earthworks, and where they wanted to do the earthworks, where it was planned, was over an old tip. And back in the day, when asbestos was just put in the tip, like not today, there wasn't registered waste facilities back then. There weren't special zones where this asbestos was interned. So all that had to come out. You know, we removed 23,000 cubic metres of asbestos impacted soil. It was re-interned at the other end of the site. 1 million people went through the airport. One end of the airport, there was protesters because there was a creek, and that was not part of the works we were doing, but the project as a whole. And we had to manage all that, you know. So it's not just this boring job that you would go to every day. Some of the most amazing things we've been involved in, and some really iconic projects like that. We were part of the Byron Bay bypass, you know, and that was another thing. We had sensitive environmental area. I think there was a frog somewhere. They had indigenous artifacts that we had to be trained on and be aware of. We had to just be sensitive to the local community, because just like at the airport, we had protesters there that didn't want the bypass to go through, because pretty much one of the big areas that we had to work in was where a lot of the local sort of vagrants and hippie community would stay, and they lost that ground. So we had the news there, we had police, we had the protesters. We were working under immense pressure. So, and that's okay, because we know what we're doing, because we're trained, we're up for those challenges. So don't ever think that being in the asbestos removal industry is a dead-end job. You know, we're constantly amazed the work that we've done. Even here, you know, we've worked on 2 series of Our House Rules. So we have worked in TV. You know, we've worked in two series of it. One series was in a house, and the other series was in penthouse of a high-rise on the Gold Coast. Now, we do a lot of high-rise work, so we were both ready, prepared and equipped for both of those jobs. But, you know, it's a very interesting day at work when you're working with TV crews. Channel 7, I take my hat off to Channel 7. They were amazing. They did everything that they said they were going to do. Every single promise they made to us, they kept. And they were really good. That they said, we have never, ever made a tradesman look bad. We will not throw you under the bus. We will look after you. We'll look after your reputation. We understand. We need you guys to make our show successful. You know, unlike some other reality TV building shows, Channel 7 were amazing and still continue to be. So, you know, if you thinking of a career in the asbestos removal industry, there's a lot that can happen. There's a lot of amazing places you get to go, places the public never get to see, places you never thought existed. So that's my sort of spiel about careers in the asbestos removal industry. If you like this video, there's plenty more over at our YouTube channel, and that's it for me today. Thank you.